Shall we start? Can't hear you.
Welcome everyone to today's Jainism class. We've got Bhavnaben who's going to be presenting Jain festivals today. Bhavnaben, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Darshnaben. Jai Jin and
No worries.
Prasanna. Hope everyone's well, enjoying the sun. Well, it's a bit windy today. So I will start with Prarthana first. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sittanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Upajjayanam, Namo Loye Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamukaro, Sabva Bhava Panasanu, Mangalanancha Sabvesim, Padamam Havai Mangalam. Saraswati Mata ne Stuti. Shri Sutta Devi Saraswati Bhagavati Hamako Vara Dena जीवन की बांसुरी में देवी श्रद्धा स्वर भर देना सम्यक ज्ञान का दीप जलाकर मन का तिमिर हटाना ना भूले ना भटके माता ऐसी राह बताना माता ऐसी राह बताना. Thank you. So tonight we are going to talk about Jain festival, or we call it Jain Parva. So let's just talk about festival. I'm sure you've all got ideas. Maybe we can all unmute ourselves and just mention a few festivals. Anyone?
Paryushan.
Paryushan, yeah.
I'm Bill.
I'm Bill. Any more? Diwali?
Kartik Punam.
Kartiki Punam, yes. Chaitri Punam. So I'm thinking about festivals overall, not just Jain festivals. Christmas. Christians celebrate Christmas. Easter. Islam religion, they have got Eid, Ramadan. Jewish festivals, Hanukkah. So if we look at all these festivals which we're talking about, which is a religious festival. So there are two types of festivals. Festivals which are religious festivals and festivals which are personal festivals. Like personal, I would be saying like weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, Balmowara, people who have their family together. In the festivals, the religious festivals, we have them together as well. But the important part here, the festival or the religious festival, which we are going to talk about tonight, that is a festival that can free the soul from the karmas and the sins. Jain Parva is celebrated not for our temporary, short-lived external happiness, such as eating, drinking, partying, maybe enjoying, but for our eternal soul, the Atma, by way of freeing the influx of karmas and the sins. So Jain Parva is celebrated by tap, so by disciplining our own desires, controlling the desires by way of worship, puja, penance, and maintaining friendship with all living creatures with devotion. There are many Jain festivals throughout the year. One must endeavor to participate in as many as possible while controlling and maintaining equanimity with mind, body, and speech, and performing various austerities to reduce our karmas and attain punya, which should lead to moksha. So, the first, can you have the first slide, please, Darshana? Can we move on to the next one? Yeah. So I've put the Jain calendar months first because often you hear people saying, oh, Paryushan is in October, in August, September, but never sure when. Diwali, we always say, is during November time, but sometimes it's in October, sometimes it's in November. So I have put down the months, and there are 12 months in the Indian calendar, and the first month is Kartak Maino. So I'm not going to go through all of them, as you can read them and see them. But the Kartak Maino is the first month of the year. And all I'll say is that's the first month after Diwali. So Diwali is the last day of the Indian calendar. And New Year, as we all say, New Year, is the first day of the new year. So next slide, please. So first one, Paryushan. Somebody, Sushila Ben, I think, mentioned Paryushan. So Paryushan is an 8-day festival, also called Shamapna Parva. It is said Paryushan is the king of festivals, just like Naukar mantra is the king of all the mantras. Paryushan is the king of the Jain festivals. Paryushan has several meanings. Pari, which comes in the word Paryushan, means all kinds, and Ushan is to burn, therefore to shed all types of our karmas. Another meaning of Ushan is to say closer, closer to our own soul, and absorbing and absorbing what the Tirthankars have taught us, taking it in and doing swadhyay, meditation. Another meaning is to suppress our passions, kashayos, which are anger, ego, deceit, and greed. So the real purpose of Paryushan is not to enjoy like parties and it, but to purify our soul, look at our own faults, to ask for forgiveness for any mistakes we have made. Often we make mistakes, and 3 ways of making mistakes: by body, mind, or by actions. Actions you can see often. Body you can sometimes see as well when you see somebody's expression or when they're using their body language. But mind is very difficult, and that is where we do a lot of faults. We make faults. We think sometimes negative things, and somebody might have said something. We like don't say anything, but inside we're thinking, oh, what are they saying? Why are they saying? So, all those we are making, we are building our karmas. So Paryushan is a way to purify our soul. During Paryushan, Kalpa Sutra is recited. It gives detailed account of Mahavir Swami's life and lives of other Tirthankars and define 5 main activities which every Shravak and Shravikas should perform during Paryushan. And the final day is Savansri, day for performing Savansri Pratikraman, asking as well as forgiving to family, friends, foes for any wrongdoings during the year. So, Paryushan is difficult sometimes because when we are in when we are working, it's difficult to spend a lot of time. But you should be doing as much as you can. Try and do Paryushan, and the best way is going to your local area where they have Pratikraman. Otherwise, SCVP, they do English Pratikraman online as well. So the best way of joining in, if you can't go out anywhere, you can still join. And I also think that they start a bit later, so there's no reason why you can't join. Paryushan this year is on the 31st of August, so not long to go now, a couple of weeks' time. So start preparing yourself now. One thing we need to remember during Paryushan, to not eat the greens. So that is what, so during Paryushan, try and eating, people do fasting, upwas kare for 8 days. If you can't do that, ekasnu, biasnu, if you can't do that, that's even fine. You know, don't need to do do what you can do. So one thing I would say is no underground food, try and avoid greens, and also as much as possible eating early in the evening rather than leaving it late, because as Jains we should be doing anatomy, but obviously we can't. But maybe something which we all need to think is maybe during Paryushan we can do it eat a bit earlier. So, and then make sure that you have either taken Pachkan, if you're not sure. If you're going to Pratikaman, you will get Pachkan, so you don't eat or drink anything after Pratikaman. If you're not going to Pratikaman, or if they don't do any vows, you can just fold your arms and do Naukar Mantra and just say that you will not be eating or drinking anything until the next morning. If you do need to have water, you can have water once. You need to say Naukar Mantra and 3 times sit down, boiled water, sit down, Naukar Mantra 3 times, drink the water, and then when you finished, Naukar Mantra, 1 Naukar Mantra again, and then maybe avoid water all night until the morning. The 5 kartavyas, which I haven't actually planned to go through it completely, but one of the things we should, sorry, is there someone, was that you, Darshnabin?
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. So they also, during Paryushan or after Paryushan, one of the kartavyas or the 5 activities, one of them is that maybe you should visit other derasar in the town, in the area after Paryushan. Another one out of the 5 activities is Swami Vatsalya. So feeding. So we have Savansri, so you can donate money or you can participate during that time by volunteering your services. Listening to Kalpa Sutra is one of them. I haven't actually listed out because I didn't want to go in too much detail, but if you do want to know, then I will find out and we'll put it in on the website. Can we move on to the next one, please? So the next one is Ambel. And Ambel comes around twice a year. So after Paryushan, after Paryushan, we have Ambel. One Ambel is after Paryushan and one is about 6 months later. So the one which comes after Paryushan is in the Aso month, which is the last month of the year. And the other one is in Chaitri Maino, which is about March, April time. So Ambel, very, very religious time. During Ambel, sermons are heard on King Shripal and Mainasundri, and because it was during that time when Mainasundri, she was a king's daughter, but her father asked who was the most important, and she said God, and he asked his other daughter, and the other daughter said it was him. The father was more. And she said, so Maina Sundari did say that you are important, but end of the day, whatever God decides happens to us. And he wasn't very happy. So he got her married, and he said, you will get married to the poorest person or the one with a lot of issues, and let's see whether Bhagwan will help you there. And she got married to Shripal, and at that time when she got married, he had leprosy throughout his body, and he was people, during those times, leprosy is one of those catchy diseases, and he sort of used to hide his body and everything because obviously people didn't want to. He didn't want people to see him, but his dad, Maina Sundari's dad, got her married to Shripal, but Maina Sundari had a faith on Sid Chakra, and the picture which you just see there in front of you, the one in the circle is actually Sid Chakra. This is what we did when we do Naupadni Puja during Aimbel. So the first circle right in the middle denotes Arihant. The one on top, so you can't see it quite, but the one on top is a Sid. The yellow leaf is Acharya, the green is Upadhyay, and the black is the Sadhu. And the four on the sides are the dharmas, so darshan, gnan, charitra, and tap. So this is Sid Chakra is the most important thing during Aimbel, and we do. It should actually, even in Derasa, where we have got Bhagwan's Murti, there is Sid Chakra there as well. And we do puja on that as well. So you can do Vakshap Puja and just say the names of all the Dev. So within that, Sid Chakra, there is Dev, so Arihant and Sid. Then there's Guru, Acharya, Upadhyay, and Sadhu. And then the Dharma, which is Darshan, Gnan, Charitra, and Tap. So this is what we did, and then people do puja and place things on there. Anyone, any questions or anything on Aimbel? By the way, so during Aimbel time, and maybe something which you might want to think about when we approach Aimbel, which will be in October time. Maybe you need to come to Oshal Center sometime during those days. It's for 9 days, and the 10th day is when we do the Parna. So during Aimbel, those people who are doing Aimbel, they refrain themselves from eating any greens or any vegetables, fruits, spices, dairy products, oils, ghee. So the only thing they do have is lentils. So even the rottlis which we do are without oil or ghee. So everything is, the lentils are all boiled, and the rottlis or rotlas. But there is quite a lot of varieties people tend to do. Maybe you can come one day, help out, and even see what's going on there. Thank you, Darshana. Can we move on to the next one, please? So this is, again, Ambel. Different, slightly different, but as you can see, there are things put out there ready for the puja. Next one, please. So then the last festival of the year is Diwali, also known as Deepavali. Diwali is the most important festival in India, and it's, according to the Hindu religion, it is the king of the festivals. So for Jains, we celebrate Diwali for slightly different reasons. Hindus celebrate it because of Ram and Ravan, Ram getting the truth and getting Sita back and coming back to Ayodhya. That's why Diwali is celebrated by Hindus. But for Jains, Diwali marks the anniversary of Mahavir Swami Bhagwan's moksha. So Mahavir Prabhu's soul left his body and attained nirvana or moksha at midnight of Diwali. Before Mahavir Bhagwan attained moksha, for 48 hours continuous, he gave sermon to the people, kings, everyone who was there. Thus, from a spiritual aspect, Diwali is celebrating by fasting and doing jap. So we do no Kairani during Diwali. It is auspicious to do puja during Diwali as well. But before or on the Diwali day, Jains, because Jains are quite business-minded, and Jains businessmen, they close their accounts, because years ago when there was no not sure of when the year was or beginning of the year was, so they would start the new business books or new accounts on the new year. So Diwali day, they would close their old books, start the new book, and they would do puja, which we call is Chopra Pujan. Even here we do Chopra Pujan at Oshwal Center. And actually, I've been told that the Chopra Pujan is not just for businessmen, but anyone. We all use books somehow or the other. Children go to school, they have books. So we do books, and during that time, um, mantras are said, and we also remember Gautam Swami. Diwali is the most auspicious time for Hindus as well. And I've been told that it is the king of for Hindus, not for Jains, but for the Hindus, it is the festival. But maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. So the next day after Diwali is New Year. So it is the new month as well, Kartak Maino. And on that day, Gautam Swami attained Kevognan. So what had happened is when Mahavir Bhagwan attained moksha, Mahavir Bhagwan knew that Gautam Swami would not be able, because Gautam Swami was very, very close to Mahavir Prabhu. And he knew that Gautam Swami would not be able to accept what was going to happen. So he sent him away to another village. So Gautam Swami, when he came back, which was on the Kartak Sud, the first day, he heard the news about Mahavir Bhagwan's moksha. He was broken down and he grieved, but then he understood the fact that it was an attachment which was keeping him very close to Mahavir Bhagwan, but for him to attain Kevognan, he needed to break that attachment. And he understood the fact that, we are all individual, and to attain Kevognan, you need detachment. So he understood that, and that enlightened him, and the next day he attained Kevognan. So on that day, again, people fast on that day. Then they recite 9 stotras and the auspicious Ras, which is on Gautam Swami. So after the New Year, so the first day, the second day is called Bhai Bij. Bhai Bij again is similar to Raksha Bandhan, but on the Raksha Bandhan, sister goes to brother's house. But this is the other way around, where after Mahavir Bhagwan's moksha, Mahavir Bhagwan's brother, Nandivardhan, he was very upset because he obviously had lost his brother. And he was in a great sorrow. But his sister, Sudarshana, took the king to her house and comforted him. So we celebrate Bhai Bij in the Jain festivals. So not the sisters going to brother's house, but brother going to sister's house. Next, please, Darshana. Then comes now. So after Diwali and New Year, so now this is following the Indian calendar. So another festival, which is Gnan Panchami, which is the 5th day. So 3 days later after Bhai Bij, which is Kartiki Punam. So this is when the full moon is out. This is a holiday for celebrating and worshipping knowledge. So during this time, again, scriptures are brought out, which impart the knowledge, and people worship them. Fasting is observed, and also people, they would do maybe give to the children, donate to the children, or give some, anything educational to the children as well. Next one, please. After Nan Panchami and after Pacham is Kartiki Punam. Sorry, the other one wasn't full moon. Sorry. This is full moon, Kartiki Punam. This is the 15th day of the Kartak Maino. So soon after Diwali, 15 days later, Kartiki Punam is celebrated. And this also marks the end of the 4 months of the rainy season. So during the 4 months, which is called Chaturmas, all our sadhus and sadhvichis, they don't move around. So normally they don't stay in one place, but during Chaturmas, they stay in one place, and they do sermons and things like that for 4 months in that one place. So after Kartiki Punam, they would start their Pagyatra. Also, it is considered very auspicious to pilgrimage to Shatrujai, Palitana. Obviously, it's not possible for everyone to go there, but even here and other derasars, I think, they do Bhav Puja of Shatrujai. So Bhav Puja is when they get the big pot. So it's like a big picture on a material which they take out, and they do Bhav Darshan, Pat Darshan and Bhav Yatra on Kartiki Punam. Next one, please. Then comes Maun Ekadashi. So Maun denotes silence, just total silence, not saying anything. Ekadashi denotes the 11th day. So this is after the Kartiki Maino, the next month is Makshar. So this falls on the 2nd month, and it's on the 11th day of that month. This day, it's said on this day that great events relating to 150 Jineshwars are celebrated by means of holy recitations. So, so the holy recitations is doing the jap, and there are different mantras. So you do one mala with different mantra, and then another mala with different mantra, and it is 150 malas you need to do if you want to do it. And it is said that you get the punya 150 times the punya. So whatever you do, so if you do fasting, you get whatever you get 150 times. So instead of doing it once, you get it in one day, you get it so many times. So even if you can't do complete silence, try and avoid as much communication as possible, unless obviously necessary. Fasting and doing the jap, going to the derasar. So again, one of the religious days. Next one, please. So another one is Posh Dashmi. Posh Dashmi is celebrated for 3 days in the 3rd month of the month Posh. This denotes Janma Kalyanak of Parshvanath Bhagwan. And it's on the 9th, 10th, and 11th day of the second half of the Poshman. So all our months are divided into two parts. The first part is the for 15 days, and then the second part is 15 days. So the first part is called the Sud, which is when you get the Punam, so it's the bright side, and then the second part, the second 15 days, is the Vad, when you get Amas. So this Posh Dashmi is on the second half of the Posh Maino. So it's on the 9th, 10th, and 11th day of the second half of the month. 3 days continuous fasting, upvas, ekasnu, whatever you can do. Next, please. Then comes Jain festival, Varshitap. Varshitap denotes 1 year, and the Tap denotes fasting. So this Varshitap actually started during Rishabdev's time. So when Rishabdev Bhagwan, he was a Dikshit, and he used to go, obviously once they've taken Diksha, they don't do the cooking, they go out for gochri. So he used to go out asking for alms, but whenever he went to people's houses, because they knew he was a king, he used to be a king, they used to give him everything else but food. They would give him clothes, gold, money, everything. And he didn't need any of that. So that, but he never used to be upset. So instead of one upvas, it carried on and on and on. So it carried on for over a year. So actually it's around 13 months and 13 days. And when he did his parnu, again, when he went to ask for alms, this time his grandson was in his palace, and he saw that Rishabdev Bhagwan came for Gochri, and obviously he knew that he was his dada as well. But at that time, he had the grandson had sugarcane juice, pots of sugarcane juice in the front of the house where had been delivered. So the grandson went out to give gochri to Rishabdev Bhagwan, and that is when Rishabdev Bhagwan broke his fast. So that was on the 13th day after 13 months and 13th day. And he broke his fast with sugarcane juice. Even today, when people do Varshitap, they do it for a whole year, and they break their fast after 13 months and 13 days using sugarcane juice. Here, people do fasting, and what they do is they do upvas one day, and on the other day they do byasu, which is twice a meal. But when we talk about Jain calendar, we count every third day as very auspicious. So second day, if we start with a month, so the second day, which is a bij, then the 5th day, Pacham, then the Atam, the 8th day, then the Agyaras, and then the Chaudas. So 5 days are very auspicious for us. So if when they're doing Varshitap, and if one of these 5 days fall after the first upvas, then they have to do upvas again on that day as well. So sometimes they do upvas twice, sometimes it might even be 3 days in a row. But like Rishabdev Bhagwan did upvas for the whole year, people now in Varshitab, they don't do a whole year upvas, but they do upvas one day and twice a meal the other day. Again, people who perform the Varshitab, they complete it by doing Parna on this day, also considered auspicious to do Shatrujay or Palitana and a pilgrimage as well. Darshna, do you want to add something on Varshitab?
I think you've covered it. Thank you, Paunabin.
If you want to add any of your experiences, because you have been speaking to people.
Yeah, as in, like, it was more on what they do, like in terms of the fasting, but you've covered it, so thank you very much.
Thank you. And I think that's the last festival according to the Jain calendar. I mean, I have looked at the Jain calendar. Also, something which, although it's not called a festival, but we always have out of these 24 Tirthankars, their Kalyanak as well. So, and that is very auspicious as well. So, and they have 5 Kalyanaks. So they have Janma Kalyanak, Diksha Kalyanak. So all those, there are 5 of them. So, you know, again, an auspicious time for you to do any of the religious pujas or anything. But otherwise, when I looked at my calendar, there are 3 months in the year where there is, well, actually 2, Fagar and Jet Mahino and Ashad, sorry, 3 months, where there is no festivals at all. There are other smaller festivals. During Posh Mahino, there is Meru Teras, where Rishabdev attained Moksha, which is at Ashtapada Tirth. Then in Mah Mahino, there's Vasant Panchami, just like spring. Then we've obviously got Chaitar Mahino, we've got Ambel and Chaitri Punam. Vaishak Mahino, we've got Varshitab. And Jet Mahino and Ashad Mahino, we haven't got anything. So quite a lot of things throughout the year on the Jain festivals, apart from 3 months out of the 12. So that's the end of the festival session. So be good if anyone wanted to add a bit more to it.
Paunabin, there's a couple of messages in the chat. Hasu has asked, what are the 5 activities defined?
Yes, that's what I went through the other. I didn't actually go through it completely because I didn't want to confuse people more. But if you have got, which you should all have, the Jainism for Beginners, this book, which we were all given when we went for the in-house session, the festivals are actually described in more depth. And if you still want me to find out about the 5 activities which we need to do, I will find it out, and maybe we can put it back, put it in the group. Is that fine, Darshna?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fine.
If that's okay with Asu. Any more?
Yeah, so Sonia has said Diwali is not king for all Hindus, from what she's aware, especially in West Bengal, for instance.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, probably not, because West Bengal maybe would have their own festivals, but that's why I said Hindus. So, obviously, most places in India, they do celebrate Diwali. But according to what I know, Hindus, Diwali is the king, but maybe I'm wrong. So sorry.
Sonia, you've got your hand
Yeah.
raised.
Yeah, no, thanks, Darshna. Thanks, Bhavna, on the presentation. Yeah, no, sorry, just yeah, they are in West Bengal, they are Hindus, and it's a different aspect for them in terms of what they're celebrating.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
in terms of a question I have for you, and this is what I really want to understand is, okay, you've gone through all these things, but if we kind of put it in a context today, and how we can kind of apply some of this in the lives a lot of us are leading today. How would you think this needs to be adapted? Because I felt a lot of everything you went through is not I mean, it's hard to relate to or even connect with. And also a lot of things we need to be a bit more practical today in terms of what's there. So I think, is there a way you're kind of seeing a way forward in terms of how we can take this, in terms of making it more applicable for people like myself to kind of really start to adapt to this, but also encourage the younger generation to be applying this a lot more?
So that's why we were saying, like, Paryushan, which is our main festival, and I do understand, because even I work, it is quite difficult to do everything which is prescribed to us because of the way our lifestyle is. But there are some things which we could adapt, like maybe, obviously, during that time, we shouldn't be eating any greens and things like that. But obviously, sometimes people have health issues and things like, so maybe limiting that to maybe one item or what, or so. Also, unless obviously you're working late, but trying to have early as possible meal in the evening. So when we say, in Gujarati, they say Ratri Bhojan. So try to avoid Ratri Bhojan. So often it's difficult because if you're working, by the time you get home, you need to do cooking and everything. But as early as possible, and once you've eaten your main meal, then you can refrain yourself from eating any more or drinking anything, apart from maybe having water. So you're still doing what you can in your own way.
Yeah, no, thanks for that. Just in terms of my perspective, I think it'll just be useful if we start having like little like easy tips, kind of saying, hey, why don't you do this? Or this is what we would suggest as an easy guidance. And I think that would actually be really helpful for people, as you said, to try to adapt to that, because it's irrespective whether, I mean, my question, why do I need to even do that, right? What is the reason for that? And the rationale. And I think those kinds of tips would be really, really useful. And I just want to make another point is, I know a lot of focus is going to what people were doing. It was different back in the day. But I feel today, even when people focus a lot on the food, but they don't even look at where the food is being sourced from or how it is being sourced. So I think that's what I'm also trying to see, is trying to make it more adaptable for, Jainism after all is no harm in any way should be done at all. It's not just on having that vegetable or being vegetarian, it's also how we're obtaining the food, right? So I just thought it'll be useful just to have that. I thought I'd like to share that with yourself and the group.
That's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, we don't know where it comes from, and it shouldn't be just during festival times. It should be throughout,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. something we could actually have a topic on its own where we have more open discussion. And obviously there are people on the session tonight. So if anyone else has got any ideas to put forward, you know, please unmute yourself and join us with the discussion.
Paunabin, I've got a question on pollution. I know you said it was a festival that's like the King Festival for Jains. But I think in one of my classes, I heard pollution's only around in this life cycle. When we go into the next life cycle, it's only Ambil that's permanent and not pollution. So why are we saying it's the main festival for Jains?
Because it is a festival where you're actually looking at your own Atma, or you're doing, all the festivals are actually for your own Atma anyway. But as we saw the meaning of pollution, which is asking for forgiveness and also reflecting on what you have been doing and trying to improve a little bit. So on what steps you're taking. But I don't understand what you're saying, that in this lifetime.
As in, like when we go into the next era, it's only like the only festival that will remain permanent is Ambil. We may not have pollution.
No, it will. The pollution will stay until, obviously, you know, it's a completely changeover. Then obviously, I don't know. You don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. But Ambil is different. Pollution is different. So, and also pollution is where we are asking for forgiveness for whatever we might have done deliberately, or we might have hurt someone. So this is a way of forgiving and asking for forgiving others and asking for forgiveness from those we know we have hurt. But sorry, Darshnaven, I cannot actually, I haven't got that much of knowledge to say, well, maybe we shouldn't, because we might not have it in the next era. I don't know.
Can I just say something there?
Sandeep, yeah, carry on.
Basically, the answer to your question is, Ambil has been there for eras, and it's always at the same time, same sort of time. Whereas pollution is basically based on Mahavir Bhagwan's time. So basically the next Tirthankar that will come through, it will be at a different, whenever he's born, whenever he'll achieve his Nirvana, it will be based on that. So it will be a different time to what it is now in terms of the calendar. So that's why it will be different time. So therefore, it will be, because every time when they establish the Tirth, it's that Tirthankar which is being followed by the people. So pollution will be it'll still be there in the background, but the main one would be something else for the next Tirthankar. Whereas Ambil has always been followed at the same time.
And also it's celebrated in the other parts of the universe as well. So not just in this world, but yes. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I cannot explain, but where like Simandar Swami is, so it's celebrated everywhere, it's celebrated at the same time. So Sandeep, yes, you are right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep.
Thank you, Sandeep. James, you've asked if OAUK sell an Indian calendar with dates of the festival. I don't think we sell a calendar, but I think there's a calendar each month on the chat that gets sent out on some of the main chat groups. There's
It's on the
also
Oshwal website as well.
yeah, I was just about to say there's also one on the Oshwal website.
So there's,
Some,
is it an annual one on the Ashwal
It-
website?
no, it's a monthly one that gets published.
Is there a
so-
why that we don't have an annual one in that case?
I'll find out. I'll find
That'll
that
be
one out.
good.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what's the?
Why don't we have an annual one?
Actually, there is annual one. I mean, I don't know if. Hang on a second. Have you ever seen something like this?
Nope.
This is in Gujarati. This is called Kartaki Jain Panchang. But you can get Jain calendar as well.
In English.
From Jain Derasar as well. Not from Oshal Derasar, but from Kenton, you can get Jain calendar from there as well. So normally during Diwali time, if you either go to Derasar or if you need one, maybe speak to Sandipai, and if he gets it, not the Sandipai who was just speaking, but Sandipai from the religious, he might be able to provide you with one. Does that answer?
Sonia Ben, does that answer?
Not quite, but it's okay. I'll pick it up later. Thanks.
And then I think this is just a comment from Sundip Bhai. There are 13 months every third year, and this is called Purushottam month.
Purushottam, yeah. So every 3 years.
And that's why
fourth,
Diwali
yeah.
is sometimes in October and sometimes in November.
Yeah, that's why it's never the same time. So it's called like Adhik Mahino, where it's like an extra month. So we have 13 months then. And also, not going too much in detail with the calendar of Jain calendar, but sometimes, some days we have together. So it could be that the first and the second is together, or 11th and 10th, 11th and 12th. So sometimes you have 15 days, some you have less day, but I don't know how they work. Obviously, it's actually prescribed from before.
And another comment from Jayshree Ben, who said Ambel is Shashwat, so we'll be celebrating from long time.
Yes,
and we'll
it's
continue
Jambu as well. Yeah.
If anyone's got any more questions, please ask.
Or if they want to add, not just questions, but if they want to give us some more information, would be great. So we are all here to do the learning.
Okay, I'm going to just make a quick announcement about the Jainism class. So this is our last session for this term. We've got Borishan coming up at the end of August. There's going to be an English Pratikama held at Avanti House in Northwest London for all 8 days. There's also a really special program at Oshwal Centre on the 1st of September, same time as the normal Pratikama, but there'll be more details for the 1st of September in the group chats. And there'll be more details on when we resume Jainism classes after Borishan. If no one has any questions, I I think we can end the session. Paunabin, did you want to end it with a prayer?
So all I'd like to say first is that if I have knowingly or unknowingly made any mistakes or gone against our scriptures, so Michami Dukram to Sarva Mangala Mangalyam Sarva Kalyana Karanam Pradhanam Sarva Dharmanam Jainam Jayati Sashanam Jainam Jayati Sashanam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Paunabin, for today's session. It was really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you all for today.
Thank you all and enjoy Paryushan. Everyone been keeping safe.
Very nicely.
Thank you, Paunabin.